I have just one question to ask. What's your game of the decade? What list of games would you put together if the Game Awards made a new award, not just Game of the Year, but Game of the Decade for the 2010s? So any game released between 2010 and 2019 will be eligible. What would be your nominees for Game of the Decade? Each of us made our lists. We had up to 10 nominees. We didn't have to have 10, but I took all of our lists and aggregated their scores. I combined them all, I averaged them all out into our definitive top 6. So these 6 games are going to be presented in order from lowest to highest. So the game that got the least amount of votes is going to be presented first, and we're going to go in reverse order. The first nomination for SI Not Found's Game of the Decade award goes to Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Okay, dude. Okay.
The multiplayer attack FPS developed by Valve, released in 2012. This game is by far the least popular one out of our top 6, with a peak player base of only 1.8 million. Well, Charles, you've played CS like the most out of all of us.
Yeah, I've played CSGO for like 6 years. I'm not going to disclose the amount of hours I have. Just check my Steam profile. It's up there.
Most of us did not have this game on our list, and I think the main argument against it is because it's just not very popular. 1.8 million is extremely low for a game for
It's not mainstream like every other game.
Charles has 8,242 hours on record for CSGO.
Honorable mention every day of the week, right?
It's like one of the biggest esports of all time.
like-
Also,
Oh.
when it comes to like competitive FPS shooters, like it is the gold standard when it comes to clicking
Exactly.
heads.
I think it's a very rewarding game compared to other like multiplayer games.
You know, I'm actually behind CSGO being on this list now, just because of all the skin gambling and stuff like that.
T Martin and stuff.
the skins
in terms
are
of tea and drama, like,
the 5th place nominee for SNF Found's Game of the Decade goes to
Rayman Legends.
The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim.
Wow, what
Had
a
to
fucking
happen.
surprise.
Had to happen. I
Yes,
agree.
it had to happen.
I agree. So, an open world
it's not on
RPG
my
developed by
list.
Bethesda, released in 2011, along with being on our top 6. It's also the best-selling RPG of the decade with 60 million copies. So, I'm going to talk
I
about
didn't
it for a
know
little
that.
bit. Yeah.
Well, it's because it was on like 18 different systems, including the fucking fridge.
I myself can say I personally have bought that game 8 separate times.
Because Skyrim's great. A lot of it's nostalgia, yes, because I played it a lot younger. But, like,
In terms of longevity, like, since it's so open to modding, it has stuck around for an entire decade.
The reason everyone gets so disappointed in like even a decent RPG nowadays is because Skyrim exists. Like CS kind of set the standard for TAC FPS. This game set the standard for like an open world RPG. I'm
Well
not a big
said.
RPG guy, but I feel like it's still hard to top.
and now, the 4th place nominee for our Game of the Decade goes to Fortnite.
What the fuck?
The game.
Are you serious?
Hang on. The free-to-play
so-
battle royale made by Epic Games launched in 2017. It is unsurprisingly the largest game on our list in terms of player base, with a peak of 290 million
It's not on my list.
in May
Like,
2021.
Okay,
So
okay.
Nick, you placed this game higher than anybody else by far. So I'm gonna let you defend it for a second.
Okay, I hate Fortnite. I literally hate Fortnite now, but I was trying to be as objective as possible. And if you're being objective, you're trying to think about the game, you would be actually dumb to not think that this should be
Fortnite
a
is not on my list. Didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, because you were doing it subjectively.
Yes.
What games are
Because
on your
you are
fucking
dumb.
list?
It's
No,
a
but
good thing
no,
you're pretty.
no. Your
Don't
list
call
is
me
more
pretty,
subjective.
everybody.
We talked about your list before. I know your list is
Don't get used
subjective.
to it.
If you're
The two main reasons like that I think it has to be on this list is one, like the cultural impact
It's
of the
the
game.
size.
The cultural impact of the game, like people like
Yeah, Fortnite
non-gamers
should have been on
know
my list.
Fortnite.
Took
and
over
also,
the world.
no, but the second thing, which I think is the stronger case that people don't talk about, is that it truly innovated the free-to-play battle pass system. Every game
started it,
copies.
basically.
Every game copies. And so that's like the more
Free to
legitimate
play was
reason.
essentially a mobile game thing, and now every single game is live service.
And then it was the first one to really like bring in other brands
Yeah.
because they understood their target demographic.
They did virtual concerts in Fortnite, like
Which are
fucking
actually really cool.
Marshmallow
They are
and
really
Travis
cool.
Scott.
Travis Scott.
So that was Fortnite in our 4th place.
Wasn't on my list.
Now we're going to the top 3.
We established your list was bad. We established that like a month ago.
We have. So the 3rd place nominee for Game of the Decade goes to
Dun, dun, dun,
The Last of Us.
Wasn't on my list.
I
All
feel
right,
like
Marco,
if you're
you might as well leave the
if
call,
you're a
bro.
listener, you're
Yeah.
starting to build this picture of why Marco's list is so just bad. The action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog, released in 2013. It was critically acclaimed for its storytelling and writing, as well as getting a rare successful video game to live action adaptation.
Has anybody played this
I've
game?
played through like
I
the
have,
first
actually,
5
yeah.
or 6 hours.
I just watched a
I played the
playthrough.
Beyond the
Very
fact
well
that the TV show is fucking incredible. This game redefined, I guess, storytelling in a video game.
It
Interesting,
was kind of like one
deep
of the first
characters.
movie games.
And still make it a good
Like,
game, too.
exactly. On PS3, at the end of the generation, this game looked incredible.
Do any of you guys think that the show is better than the game?
Some of the changes I really liked compared to the game. Also, Bill and Frank, that whole story with them.
I don't think most like writers ever get this sort of chance to improve upon their original work. They're making season 2, which is going to be modeled after the second game, and I'm
which was
curious
not
what they'll
very-
do. Yeah, so like if this is a chance for them to improve upon the writing of the second game, I think it'll
Or
be
make it
really
worse.
interesting. It'll be really interesting. to
Or
see.
make it worse. That's a good point.
No shot they make it worse.
Or destroy it all.
Okay, Last of Us on the podium.
The top two have to be the same thing.
We know what the number 1 game is going to be.
Okay.
Yes.
The
Drop it,
second
drop it,
place
drop it.
nominee goes to Grand Theft
Grand
Auto
Theft Auto
5.
5.
Okay,
Grand
so
Theft Auto 5.
I
Good.
have to be right with number
Good.
one.
One of the most
yeah.
expensive games ever made, costing $350 million when adjusted for inflation. GTA 5 was released in 2013 by Rockstar, and it's also the second best-selling video game of all time. Preston, you're actually the only one who put GTA 5 at number 1 on your list.
Here's the reason, because A, one of the most expensive games made it all back after one commercial.
That was-
Like the online, absolutely nuts. The longevity that they're squeezing out of that is just crazy. The fact that they haven't come out with a new game, but you could argue that they don't really have to. Like you could go back, play GTA
3
5,
generations of consoles.
Half
I
of our
mean-
lives, GTA 5 has been around for, guys.
straight up. That's why I put it at number 1, is because like one of my favorite games to ever come out, just memories wise. Us trying to do a heist and Moss didn't bring snacks, you know, like
If Cyberpunk came out like the way it did, in a world where GTA 5 doesn't come out, people would have appreciated Cyberpunk. Like, well, at least you tried, right? Like, at least you tried with the game of this scale. But like, Rockstar did it like a decade ago, and they did
Yeah.
it flawlessly with like barely
and
any
they
bugs.
killed it.
So I think we all know
Number one is-
Yes.
number 1 is,
Yes.
and it is
Minecraft.
Yes.
Minecraft. Not only is
The
Minecraft
greatest of all time.
the best-selling video game of all time, it is also the most actively played with 140 million monthly active players. So Marco, you're the only one left, so you're gonna talk about this.
Let me take you back. Minecraft was $27. We didn't have that kind of money. Couldn't buy an account. So
When was
Moss
this?
and I would find any cracked launcher just to play any version of Minecraft. Playing it on a potato laptop.
How old were you?
12, 13. And also the whole era of Minecraft YouTubers. It's amazing. I mean, the way that the game has evolved along with the player base, you always go back to Minecraft.
It is just like incredibly nostalgic.
After Carrie moved, our first time going over to your new house, we went downstairs in your basement. It was just your laptop.
And you showed us
And you just showed us your redstone cannon.
that you made.
Really?
And that's
I don't
the
remember
first
this.
thing. You were like, come
I
see,
remember
that was
that,
it.
yeah.
And for the rest of the night, we had like 3 laptops set up and we were just trying to play any maps that we could.
So much of my computer knowledge comes from modding Minecraft,
Minecraft.
because you have to learn how to use the
Percent
file
app
system.
data, percent
Yes.
roaming.
So I'm gonna show everyone's list at once.
Don't
So
look at mine.
there it is. Open it, make it big.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five
let's
Nights
go.
at Freddy's!
No. We need to have a conversation, Nick.
Pokemon Go should not be on this list.
At 5?
If you look
It
at
lasted
its-
for one
We're-
summer.
You put it over Skyrim? I don't care
How
how,
many
objective
players
you
does
are
Pokemon
doing
Go?
this.
Uh-oh.
have
Yeah, that's right, lag
defend
out.
himself.
That's
He
right,
can't
lag
defend
out.
himself.
Pokemon Go still has 80 million active players.
Cool.
And
It's not a video game. It's not
Yes,
it's a
it
mobile
is.
game. It's a
it's
mobile
an
game.
AR experience. So these 5 games you put under Pokemon Go, would you say Pokemon Go is a better game than any of these?
I'm not thinking about it as just better game when it comes to that. Well, one, Pokemon Go is a mobile game, so it has disadvantages.
So-
My thing with Pokemon Go
So would you say it's
is
more
it
impactful
literally
then?
took
It's
over
like-
the world.
for one summer? Okay,
Dude,
What
it
took
made
over the
gamers
world.
go
And name
outside.
one-
That's revolutionary.
People got human trafficked because of this game, okay?
Yeah.
There had to be articles being like, don't go to the gym to fight these people because you're gonna get fucking stolen. This game has done more harm than good.
Okay, where were this?
Yes, the fact that it had that many
Human trafficking, Nick, that's all I'm gonna say. You cannot beat human trafficking.
I don't like 100% disagree with like your reasoning for why it's on this list.
But at
I just
5?
I just completely disagree with the fact that it's anything but 10.
Okay, the whole it shouldn't be that high argument. I do understand that. Looking back at it, I probably should have. It's not just Nintendo fans who played this game. It taught people Pokemon who've never played Pokemon before.
There's so much on this list that we could discuss, and it's gonna be an hour of us yelling about
Okay, so-
Pokemon Go.
I do want to touch on the few of you guys that put Overwatch on your lists. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, fucking Pokemon Go is better than Overwatch.
When Overwatch came out,
League.
it was like the shit. Everyone was playing Overwatch. The league was
No, they
huge
weren't.
in the first
No,
like
they
2 years. Then it started to suck dick, and it still does. I don't know how it still exists.
It sucked the entire time.
Just the game itself, I don't know, man. It's just, when it comes to just an interesting blend of FPS and like MOBA, there's nothing like it. It was fun to play for a while before they destroyed the game.
If you don't want to put Overwatch on the list of top 10, I think it would definitely be within the honorable mention. It took the world by storm when it came out. It was a big deal. Not much
Okay,
like it.
I feel like we can't
was just-
say we took the world by like all of these games in some way or another took the world. That's why they're on this list.
Sure.
Overwatch also, again, this
Except for
it's-
Rayman fucking Legends.
Shut your mouth.
Nick, you put Pokemon Go
put
fifth on
Pokemon
your
Go
list. You
at
can't
five,
talk shit
alright?
about anything.
You were both invalid for any argument.
Oh
you
my
had
Rayman
for
Legends
the
is
rest
at
of
the
it.
bottom of my list. It was one of the
Minecraft
first
is
things
that
I
game
thought.
until you put it on this list.
I'm not denying that Overwatch isn't a great game. I mean, then again, my list was strict. I only put 7 games on my list, but I just don't feel like it has that oomph to get it over the hurdle because it was fantastic, but it just died out.
I think it does.
I want to turn attention to the many games on Marco's list that don't appear anywhere else.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 took Super Mario Galaxy and made it better in a lot of ways and added Yoshi. Everyone fucking loves Yoshi. This is Nintendo, top of their game.
Mark, you don't
No,
own a
it's-
PlayStation. You don't play single player games. Why is God of War on your list?
Because
Is
the
that
game
all
is just
objective?
badass.
Honestly, the best argument you made the entire time.
Destiny. I put Destiny on there. It took looter shooters and PvP and PvE. Played
We
the newest
didn't even
expansion.
enjoy
Shut
the
fuck up.
people we played it with. Like,
Yeah, shut up.
Me,
The
Preston
game.
wouldn't speak
You're
to
bad
me
at
in
the
school
game,
the next
Preston.
day. We failed a raid. He kicked me from the Xbox Live Party, sent me a long voice message about how I'm fucking awful at this game and a terrible human being, and he wouldn't speak to me the next day.
Speaking of looter shooters, Borderlands 2. It takes one of the greatest villains ever in a video game
I will give you
with a
that.
fantastic story, taking just looter shooters in general, making them
The
great. The
best villain?
expansions were great, the story was great, the weapons were great. Huh?
Who was the best villain?
Handsome
Sephiroth.
Jack. Charles doesn't play anything except CS:GO. We've talked about this already.
I don't know how many. I put a lot of hours into Destiny 1. I'm not gonna lie.
I never saw you online. All of you sucked. I was the best at
I was
Destiny.
bad?
You
Dude,
were
you didn't
all
play with
literally
me.
awful. You didn't, because you were bad. You were not at
No,
level.
'cause
You
I was
didn't
like
understand. You weren't on my level.
Yeah,
You just
I was
weren't on my
gonna
level.
say, Charles,
You weren't
you
on
were
my.
like
You weren't on my
13
level.
at the
Did you
time.
wake up at 5 a.m. to play Rise of Iron? No, you didn't. I woke up at 5 a.m. to play Rise of Iron.
Shut up,
You guys
shut up.
didn't.
You played-
So
you
all
played
you can suck
Wizard,
my
okay?
dick and balls. All right, shut the fuck up.
You've always gotten carried by being pretty, and that's just made life.
That's
easy
just
for
wrong.
you.
Five Nights at Freddy's belongs on this list. If
Yes,
you
it
say
does.
it doesn't, it belongs on the list.
It does.
It had literally the first game took the internet by fucking storm, created a whole genre of
Okay,
games.
so we're going back
and
to
now-
taking the world by storm.
It did! If
That's
you
your-
watch
that's your
YouTube in
only argument.
2014,
That's
it
your
was
only
always
argument.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Rayman
Yeah,
Legends.
and
If you like good platformers with good visuals, fun characters, fun level design, musical levels,
And play
just
Super Mario
fantastic
Galaxy.
platforming. No, it's a 2D side scroller. 2D side scroller.
Can you explain why you put
It's Spider-Man.
at number 1? Because on the
It's a
list,
fantastic game.
I'm not a single player game guy. It has the best story I have ever experienced in a video game. Incredible soundtrack, insanely fun gameplay. For all the memes where it's like, this game makes you feel like Spider-Man. It makes you feel, you feel like a fucking badass.
Number one.
yeah, that's like my whole thing. Number 1.
Mario Kart 8 is endlessly replayable, fun for literally anybody. It's the best racer, period, of any game released this decade. I don't give a fuck about Forza. I don't give a fuck about F1.
If it, obviously if it wasn't good, no one would buy it. It's not that they just get it because it comes with the Switch. So if you're putting objectivity, sure, maybe not top 10, but this is up there with the games of the decade.
Okay,
'cause
Mark.
it's-
Can we talk about like the Smash Ultimate pick for like?
Yeah, I
It's
thought
the fighter. Again,
No.
I also think of this subjectively because I have so many good memories. I've played this game
Okay.
endlessly. But also, it's like,
I'll
look
give
at
you- I'll
competitive
give you
fighters.
subjectively.
Smash has been everywhere.
It is the leading fighting game esport, the leading fighting game, like when it comes to just player base in general. But fighting games is, no matter how you look at it, just a smaller market. I would probably put it like 13 or 14. I think it
This is
deserves
also-
to be
This is
pretty high
also
up.
more of a
Nah,
recency thing. It came out late in the decade.
So one game I think underperformed, at least in my opinion, was Breath of the Wild. I thought it would be a little high. In fact, it did place 7th, so it was just
If I was
outside our
going
top.
I
full
was-
objectivity, yes, Breath of the Wild would probably be like 3rd on my list.
I'm not a Nintendo guy, so I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it's.
I think on our list you could represent it more, but also like hearing it as like game of the decade is not a crazy thing at all. I think
No.
it would be up there in top 5.
Could we do the same thing, but for the 2000s?
I don't think so. I
Not
mean,
a-
my list would be so small because I only
think
really started
if we
playing
were to do
video
it for the
games.
2000s, I think it would be much more
Star
objective
Wars
than
Battlefront
subjective.
2.
Yes! Fuck GTA
I-
San Andreas.
Halo
Simpsons
3.
Hit and Run. You can make
yeah,
a legitimate
that'll
case that
roll.
all 3 Halo games in the 2010s would be on the list.
I think it would be much more objective than
Yeah.
No.
subjective. But besides things like Wii,
Wii
Sports or like a couple things that
Oh,
we grew
dude,
up
Wii
playing,
Going the other way, as of right now, what games that came out in the 2020s so far you think would be
Overwatch,
still on the
Valorant.
list?
Tears of the Kingdom.
The only locks right now are Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring, and then in the future for this decade, GTA 6 or
GTA
Elder Scrolls
6.
6.
I would
Depending on how-
I would still put God of War Ragnarok as like,
Spider-Man
you
2
want to
is
keep an eye
tough.
on it.
Best trilogies of all time.
Yeah, but,
Spider-Verse,
but are
Five
they
Nights
like
at
the
Freddy's.
Dark Knight Rises?
That ends this episode. Hopefully,
what's your game of the
What's
decade?
your favorite
what's
game
your
of the
game
decade?
Yo, anyone who's played Rayman Legends, give me some sympathy. Give me some
No.
love.
I really want to see this comment section because I wonder if anybody either agrees with me for at least considering it or if
Nope.
they're all just
Comment
fake as
if
fuck.
you even know what Rayman Legends is. Like, I guarantee you, 0 people will comment that.
How many
good.
of you think Five Nights at Freddy's deserves to be in the top 10 games of the day?
Yeah.
If you guys like
Okay,
games, leave a comment below.
just-
leave a,
Yeah,
leave
if
a
you
comment
like
if you
games,
like
leave a comment.
Leave like if you like bacon.
You really need interaction.
If you let us know if you would rather have unlimited games but no bacon or unlimited bacon but no games.